everybody, welcome to Popcorn Planet. I am Andy Signor. After 3 attempts, we are here for Nerd Wars. Whoa, 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 whoa. I know what I'm doing. At least I'm pretending like I know what I'm doing. Hey, everybody. So today was last night we pre-taped, or we did this live over my new channel, Movie World. If you aren't subscribed over there, I'll put the links on over, but it's a second channel I'm creating for movie analysis. So thanks to all of you who came over, watched this live there. You got to build watch time minutes when you're creating a new channel, so that's what we're doing. So I'll be pre-taping and releasing these separately over the course of the day today. So thanks for watching later if you missed us live. But I'm so happy today because we got a bunch of fun topics and I got some great guests with me. Let's get to them. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the show. Boom, 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 boom. Hey, everybody.
What's up?
So nice to have so many of you here. Oh, wait, I got to unmute my man. There you're muted there. Unmute yourself. Damn, I got my Alfred Chris. What's up, Chris? My expert. We got Damien, we got a Don, and we got our special guest. All you, screw you guys. We got a special guest today. So happy to have Mr. Geekdom 101, World of Geekdom. Danny, what's up, man? Welcome to the panel today.
My mom told me I was special when I was younger, so thanks for affirming that for me. I appreciate it. Happy to be here.
So special. No, all of you guys are special to me. Thanks for all being here. We got some fun topics to talk about. This is a looser show for Danny that you're in here new. This isn't as sometimes it gets heated. Sometimes we fight hard.
Hell yeah.
Sometimes we just have discussions. If we all agree, we all agree. Nerd Wars is a little bit more of a conversation and passionate conversations when we need to be. So all excited to do this. Damien, real quick before we go. Damien had a big premiere of his film, The Other Side. I need to give him a round of applause. My man, it was amazing. Short film, independent film that he made himself, got funding, and now he's can we announce the big news? Yep. Mm-hmm. He's got funding now to make a feature-length version of it already. Woo! Amazing, my man. Bravo!
Thank you. Congratulations, man.
That is so exciting. He's looking for he's got almost already over half of the money. So fantastic, man. Other investors he's rallying up now. So if you want to get in on something good, I saw the 12 minutes. It is fantastic. I'm so excited. Damien, where can they get more information?
You could always check it out on the other side. I'll always have links here. But I'm looking forward to when we do the features, actually having Andy on location, because you're going to be there doing some BTS and doing some stuff like that. We're going to try to see if we can make something out of it.
When it's official, yes.
That'll be fun. So, yeah, that's officially happening.
Yeah, no, I'm proud of you, man. It was very cool to see you. Very happy. Guys, get out there, be creative. He's inspired me. That's why I'm trying to do more edited stuff over there, too, because I'm like, I want to create more stuff, not just always talk about it. It's when you talk about it with friends and you have a panel, it's fun, but just sitting there every day reading the news, I'm getting bored of it. But thank you, Damien, for inspiring me. Congrats again. Awesome news. Thanks, Don, good to see you as well. There you are. Just giving everybody their close-up. And my man, Chris, my Tampa native, and my man Danny. There you are. All right, so Danny, you have seen Song of the South?
Me?
Yeah. Did you say you did see it?
Oh yeah. Okay. So many years ago, about 12 years ago, for those who don't remember, YouTube used to have movies, full movies on there, cut up into parts, and I remember watching Song of the South in like 12 parts. On the yesteryear of YouTube, like 12 years ago, I want to say. Saw it one time in my life, and I wish I could actually own a copy of it because to me, even though the film is controversial, I think it's part of history, which I'm sure we'll talk about here, and I don't like the idea of history being erased, even though the movie might be controversial. Does that make sense?
Totally makes sense. I think that actually is a very good version of what we should talk about. So that's our main topic here. Let's get to our first topic here. I have it on screen. Gotta get rid of that. There we go. So the big news is Splash Mountain, which is inspired by the film Song of the South, which has upset a lot of people for its portrayal. We'll get to all that. But it's been a ride that has sort of been always frowned upon due to its history. It's an adaptation of stories, African American stories from back in the day. The way they adapted it back in I got to get more of my facts straight. I have it on a different article. But anyway, it's always been riddled with controversy, and a lot of people are offended by it. And so it's been sort of, and the ride was opened in 1983, and the film came, and then the film was banned in 1986. So for like 3 years, it was like normal, it was there, and then suddenly Disneyland had this ride based off of a movie that was then deemed racist and controversial. So ever since 1983, this ride has been there. They have tried to redo parts of it. There was a tar pit scene that they did eventually change because the term tar baby was very offensive for a lot of people, and so the ride over years has tried to make it less offensive and just own like the animal characters and get part of Critter Country, which is what it is. But finally, after all the backlash of years of backlash and now the movement we're in, they've officially sort of announced, and this has been rumored for a while, but now it's official through the Disney blogs, that they are going to turn Splash Mountain into the new adventures with Princess Tiana coming to Disneyland Park and Magic Kingdom Park. They will be changing the look. They will be keeping sort of the heart of the ride, the mechanics of the ride, the log flume, etc. But they will take us through the bayou and the world of Tiana and the world of Princess and the Frog. They're going to open up it's part of the New Orleans vibe. So there's a lot of stuff they plan to do to create this. The voice of Tiana, Dakota Ruth shared, it's really exciting to know that Princess Tiana's presence in both Disneyland and Disney Kingdom will finally be fully realized. And so this is big news. So a lot of people are happy about this. A lot of people are upset about this. This is the conversation we'll start with of just sort of, is this a bad thing? I'll say my opinion first on this. Look, I don't think it is a bad thing. I think this is a good thing, but I share what Danny says of just like, we can't keep rewriting our history. That is a dangerous thing. And if you know Song of the South of the movie, I don't believe the intentions of that film were at all meant to be what sort of it blew up to be. That said, it offends people. It offends people, and I think the reason it offends people is fair and it's valid, and I don't think they're overreacting. And so in that case, the film isn't even available to see. So it's just like, why is it a Disney ride? There's so many big, pop culture films. Rides are shut down all the time. The E.T. ride is no longer in function. Regardless of its, offensiveness, to me, it's just like, well, look, it's just not a popular movie anymore. It's not one kids know. You can't get merchandise from it. From a business standpoint, it makes sense to reskin it to something that's more popular and current. And I think Princess and the Frog, it may seem like, oh, of course Disney's using that and they're just trying to do it because they're told to. I think it's a beautiful movie. I think it's underrated. I do wish she was a frog for less of it. That's always the part is kind of gets boring as she's a frog, and you don't get to actually have the first black princess in the movie for a lot of it, which is always I found odd. But I like the movie. I think it's a strong movie, and it was one of the last hand-drawn animated films. I respect it. It's in that catalog, and why not put it there and actually have something more respectful in that place? As long as the ride can still stay there, maybe you have a nod to something still there for the history of the park. There may be a way to do that respectfully. This is not a hill I need to die on and say, no, Splash Mountain must stay that same way. I don't think that makes sense. But does anyone on the panel have any other strong feelings to want to go about? Danny, do you want to start us? What are your thoughts on this beyond what you already said?
Sure. I mean, one thing we should clarify is that Splash Mountain will still be Splash Mountain. The ride itself, the water and everything, presumably it's going to be the same thing. It's just they're going to reskin it, so to speak. Because if you go to Splash Mountain, whether you're in California or here in Florida, we're about an hour away from Disney World. When you go to Splash Mountain, you hear Zippity Doo Dah and the song from Song of the South, which is a very famous Disney song that they actually have available on their musical collection, but yet not the movie. You can't even watch it. It's kind of crazy. Now, I will say, though, there was like an international Blu-ray release of it that I don't think is official. But as far as seeing it on Disney Plus or, any of the Disney Blu-ray movie club stuff, you're not going to get it. They want to pretend like it doesn't exist.
Yeah, it's never been released on DVD, Blu-ray. They've never put it anywhere.
Except you can only get unofficial.
You got to get it through conventions or online. Rip it illegally. But yeah, correct. Go ahead.
Right. So no, I just want to say that the ride's going to be the same, and I understand this because they've done this before. Other rides have. For example, in Universal, they had the Terminator ride that became the Simpsons ride. Or I'm sorry, the Back to the Future ride became the Simpsons ride. Terminator became Transformers ride. So changing like the skins of the rides is like a common thing. The Hanna-Barbera ride became the Nickelodeon Nicktoons. What was it? It was a Nicktoons ride. I forget what it was called. Somebody will probably
reskin. Yes, there have been a lot of these examples.
Yeah. So I think what they're gonna do is replace Zippity Doo Dah with some of the songs from Princess and the Frog, and that's fine. My only issue, they're obviously doing it because of the current state of the world with the current political climate and Black Lives Matter and all that. They want to distance themselves away from like Song of the South even more. And I understand that, but I still have a problem with them sort of erasing history in the sense of not so much the ride, but also the film. I do think that, and maybe I'm being selfish here, but I'm a completist and I like having a collection of Disney films, which I happen to have outside of Disney Plus. And I feel like that's a film that even if you put it out with a disclaimer or with an apology or whatever you want to do, I think it should still be available to the public because it is a movie that is a piece of art that people worked on, whether or not it's controversial. Yeah, I understand why you wouldn't want it, but I still personally think that they should put it out even with a disclaimer. I know why they don't. I get it, but it's almost like there's a piece of the collection missing. You know what I mean? And that's my issue with it. But it's not. I don't think the ride changing is that big of a deal. I don't think it is a big story for those who grew up on that ride, but it's going to be the same ride, just different songs, really, and different sort of pictures. And the Disney likes to have very high production values if you've never been in the park. So you're going to see like the nice animatronics and the statues and all this cool stuff, but it'll all be redone for Princess and the Frog. It doesn't bother me too much. I just really wish that someday that movie got released, even with a disclaimer, so that people can actually watch it and judge for themselves.
Yeah, and just so we're clear on the film itself, because you've seen it, it's like, look, the depictions they don't really say when it took place, and so that's part of the biggest problem with the film. It's sort of done after slavery was abolished, and so it's done before it was. So the characters are just sort of seemingly okay with it all. It's sort of part of the problem of the film, and so there's a lot of just ambiguities about the film. But again, I will say it's not. I don't believe the film was made or meant to be racist in any way. I think they were trying to be positive, look positive, and tell these stories and do it in a way. So it's like, if you actually see the film, yes, there are parts that may trigger, people and say, well, that doesn't hold, that's not right, and that's wrong. But it really is a cartoon about animals, positive stories that Uncle Remus, right, is his name? Tells.
Uncle Remus, yeah.
Uncle Remus tells, and then sort of the character learns from the stories and so on. But again, there's a lot of more. Compared to some of the other things we're censoring right now, this one definitely is worse than the other ones. So it's like, if we're going to censor, or not even censor, but start putting disclaimers on Gone with the Wind and things, it makes sense that this one is getting, and especially if Disney's not comfortable ever releasing it. But look, I share your, we should, we have to have, you have to have the history there so we learn from it. That is a very important thing. At the same time, you can add these disclaimers and things. But yeah, you were going to say something before I go to the rest of the panel real quick?
No, I was just going to say that I agree with you. And I feel like when I saw the film, now I haven't seen the film in 12 years, but when I saw it, I didn't think it was overtly racist. I thought some of the phrases, like you mentioned, Tar Baby, Uncle Remus being sort of like a, what's the word? Like, let me just phrase it like this. The Sam Jackson character from Django Unchained, like that type of character.
Uncle Tom.
I didn't want to use the word, bro, but you know what I'm trying to say.
I can say it.
All right. Yeah, I didn't want to use the word, but that's the essential of the controversy behind it. Yeah, I mean, I understand why they want to get rid of it. I just wish it was at least released, even on a limited release, so people could see it, because I didn't think it was that offensive. But again, everyone's different and everyone has different tolerance levels. So
yeah, as Iron Wolf said, Disney has a lot of shady past. There's a lot of racism.
Hell yeah, dude! Don't even forget they have
cartoons.
anti-Semitic. There's anti-Semitic cartoons from back in the day, dude.
Walt Disney, you really go down to Walt Disney. Yeah. I mean, he would definitely have been canceled. Don,
for
Don,
sure.
Go to you quickly. What do you any thoughts on this?
I'm actually agreeing on a lot of it. I mean, for years, even growing up, I didn't put a connection of Song of the South to Splash Mountain. Growing as a kid, I didn't watch Song of the South. So Zippity Doodah, Zippity Day, that just didn't have that same kind of impact to me. But then I eventually did see the movie. So I saw and I understand why people were offended on it, but it's like the perception is why I took out of watching it. Like, because you said it right. They don't say exactly what time frame it is, and if you just change some of the outfits and change some of the names, the perception of some of those songs and some of those scenes can actually go a whole different way. That movie would change completely around if it was just something. But because of the fact that they didn't do that, and they went with the way that they did, it just drove that home even more. I don't think they should have got rid of it. I agree there should have been disclaimers, and they would be like, this is going to be more for adult Disney. This is like our bad. This is the thing. Looney Tunes has done it. Like everybody has done it at one point in time. And I personally would love to find those films and those stuff, not because I enjoy them, but because they are history. And those are things that you learn so much of that time, whether it was intentionally supposed to be offensive or not, it does represent that time in a scary way. And that's a good thing to see. And you don't want to isolate that out, because how is it you're not going to repeat your history if you don't know your history?
Well said. Damien, quickly, thoughts on this as we hit this topic?
I just wish their timing was a little different. I mean, they've known about this change for a while. I wish they would have dropped it before all the stuff happened, and then it wouldn't have seemed like a reactive response. That's one thing.
Yep.
I would have liked to have seen
yeah.
more princess rides along the way, or general princess rides, so that way it doesn't feel like they're just singling out Princess and the Frog. So for me, I mean, there's a lot of things about timing. Disney's been doing things like this, and we've seen other networks do this like this. I saw your whole thing. I actually watched, I can't believe, the whole thing on The Bachelor, and it just seems like one of those situations. Yeah, I did. It just got caught up in it. I don't know how. It was very entertaining. But the point is that if you start doing this in general, and when they pull movies like Song of the South, it really is a slippery slope, because then that means, I mean, they've already covered up badly the crack on Splash. Now you're going to end up with things like Dumbo is going to have the crows changed to Blue Jays, and there's going to be a lot of other things that are going to be like that. He doesn't have psychedelic trippy dreams and stuff like that. So my point is that, you know, it is a time. There was a period. I performed Zippity Doodah as a kid, by the way. I actually performed it in a kid's play, and I was happy to sing it. Wonderful feeling, wonderful day.
It's a happy song.
I had no idea what references that what it had, and I wrote.
It's a good song.
Yeah, it's a good song, and I never had any. And I honestly, until other people started pointing out the problem with it, I just like, well, that's how it was then. I mean, that's just how people.
He's just a happy slave, okay. Damien. Come on.
Yeah, well, people just. Here's the thing: is that when people told stories in certain periods of our lives, just similar to the Die Hard woke thing, there's just certain things that were just acceptable in cinema. There's things that the way certain men treated women in cinema is just as bad as how representation was in cinema back in the day. I mean, Jackie Gleason threatened his wife just about every episode about beating her. I mean, let's see if that flies today on a TV show. So there's just certain things that I do not believe in erasing the past. I do believe that it was time to upgrade the ride, but I just wish their timing was a little. They should have just dropped that timing out. They knew about it for months. I actually looked it up as soon as it came out. I was like, is this something new? No, they've been talking about it for a while. They should have dropped it when they had it.
No, really well said. I mean, it's true.
Years,
it's just like that Bachelor. It's exactly just they're doing it because they have to now, right? And that to me is not the best change, right? Because you're just doing it because a mob is telling you to do it versus you believe it's the right thing to do. So well said. I mean, I agree. People are accusing that, and at the same time, it's like, well, look. Is whatever it takes to get there, I guess, because they clearly weren't going to do it. And now it's like now it's pushing a lot of people over that edge. Like, all right, let's change some stuff. I mean, it's like I had the same problem with like Tina Fey. It's like, come on, Tina Fey. Now, of course, we're removing these episodes before someone tells me and catches me. Like everyone's playing catch up now. Like, did I ever do anything racist? Oh my God, what am I going to do? I got to cancel it. It's a climate we live in where like. Why didn't you do it before? It doesn't make it right. You still, what were we gonna say, Danny?
No, I was just going to say that just to add to this, as film fans, which everybody on the call is, most people watching are, there's a thing about kind of preserving history. This is why like the Star Wars changes George Lucas made piss people off. This is why we're collectors. A lot of us are collectors, right? They could just as easily release the film in like a limited release and say, okay, for the collectors, here you go. But be aware that this is something that we don't really believe in anymore.
They could never. They could never do that though. Disney.
I know they won't. I know they won't. They don't care.
Disney wouldn't let a mermaid's butt show on Disney Plus.
Right, dude. And the thing is, the thing about Disney, and this is one thing that we've talked about this a lot, is that they are very, and this is obvious, but hear me out. They are very corporate. Disney does things, I feel, to pander to all the different groups, I guess you could say. The problem is that you have to look at it objectively and say, are you doing this because you really care about us people, like whether it be minorities, LGBT, or are you doing it because you want our money? And that's really when you break it down like that, I often wonder. I'm not here to cast aspersions on Disney's motives behind this, but I do agree the timing of it seems like, we're going to replace this negative black stereotype with a black Disney princess to make you guys happy when maybe it should have been done years ago, because Princess and the Frog is not a new movie
No.
either.
And
So,
it's not, let's be honest, it's not a
I don't
popular
trust
movie.
Disney.
It's
I don't
not a
trust
popular
Disney,
movie
bro.
either. I like it. It's a beautiful film, but it's not one that people are like, yeah, Princess and the Frog, please, please,
Not a
please.
classic.
It's not, it's not treated like it is Lion King. You know what I mean? So it didn't make a lot of
right.
money. I think it's a great film, but it's like, it is definitely pandering. They're absolutely pandering right now because, that's what Disney does. So well said. That's what we got for this clip here. We're going to keep going live, so keep checking us out Thursdays, 9 p.m., whether it's on Movie World or Popcorn Planet. Make sure you subscribe to both. I'll put the annotation up at the end. Thanks for watching this replay. We're going to keep going live for the audience here, so thanks so much for watching. Thank you. Check out Geekdom 101, World of Geekdom for Danny's channel, Nerd Tots for Adon, and The Other Side for Damien. Thanks for watching, and thanks for joining us, guys. See you next time. Bye!